Team Canada loses 5-0 against the United States of America in the round robin of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games. A few things I want to get out of the way first. Number one, this result wouldn't change if Marie-Philip Poulin was playing. I mean, what, maybe we get a goal? Maybe. Marie-Philip Poulin is not a be-all, end-all that is going to alter the fate of this game. Is she the best player in the world? Yes. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because one player is not worth 5 goals. 6, really, because we would have needed 6. Poulin is not scoring 6 on the U.S. You know, maybe against Italy, sure. Yeah, I could see her getting a double hattie. She's not getting 6 against America. Unless, you know, she's playing their U18 team. Second, there were some, like, times where the refs were like, again, who cares? We lost 5-0. There's no excuse. There's no excuse. None for this. This is a team, and it's what we'd been saying. That's a pretty old roster. The Americans are, like, on average, 4 years younger than us. There's a lot of players who are Canadian who've been really impressive, especially in the PWHL, who didn't get an invite, instead in favor of a player who, yes, historically has been great, but this season, these past seasons even, have been underwhelming. You know, players like Batherson and Leslie are watching this game. And they got to be thinking, I could have made a difference here. I could have matched that speed and that skill that America has. The best player on our team today was Fillier. Would you look at that? One of the younger players. Speed, skill, youth. You can't just rely on all your... Imagine if the men's team did that. Like, imagine the outcry. If we're like, well, I know we have all these young stars, but hey, Brent Burns, we all love ya. Oh, Claude Giroux. I'm a Sens fan. Claude Giroux, right? Legend, vet, legendary vet. Been with the team before. Won with the team before. People would be saying, oh, how? How could you let them on the team when you have younger, more skilled players? The only thing they have on their... if what you have on your resume is a 2022 Olympic gold, that's great in 2022. That was 4 years ago. 4. Yes, for a lot of them, this is the last ride. The sad fact of the matter is, sometimes your last ride comes earlier than you thought. There's some players that you're going to think, oh man, like, yeah, they're going to be great in 2030. And they might not be, and they might not get invited. That's okay. Because there are some players who, quite frankly, if we had... I think that's what gets me. If we had different players. This isn't that American hockey is just so much better than Canadian hockey right now. Like it is with Czech hockey, Swiss hockey, Finnish hockey, Swedish hockey. Finnish women's hockey, it's just not there. It's just not there right now. It doesn't compare to the US or the Canadian hockey. It doesn't compare yet. I believe one day it will. But right now, if you are going to compare, Finnish women's hockey, Swedish women's hockey to American women's hockey or Canadian women's hockey, it's not really a contest. Canadian women's hockey and American women's hockey should be comparable if you construct the right roster, and you should be bringing the best team in the world, and we didn't. Like, I believe, yes, goaltending issues, and we don't know what the tournament will hold, but hey, what do we have to go on? Four Nations face-off. I believe that the men's team is the best constructed roster that they possibly could have brought. That it is the best possible roster. That's how you win a gold medal. Not by calling up everybody who will, be heartbroken if they don't get an invite. Everyone's going to be heartbroken. It's the Olympics. It's a shame to see because, I have so many things I can say about Hockey Canada. I love my country. I can't stand Hockey Canada. Most Canadians who watch hockey would agree with that sentiment. Most hockey-loving Canadians, which is a good chunk of Canadians, can't stand Hockey Canada, as in the entity. And the worst part is they love Canadian hockey. I love Canadian hockey so much. I'm so deeply passionate about Canadian hockey. I wouldn't be doing all this if I didn't truly, deeply love Canadian hockey. And not just in the fan way. Like in the same way that I'm like a fan of the Sens and the Red Blacks and the Charge and then whoever else. This is like for a lot of us, a cultural heritage kind of thing. Like this is embedded in Canadianness. It is embedded in pride for our nation. In, growing up skating on the canal, learning to skate on the canal, making friends at hockey, realizing that you're never going to make the NHL, or for every, one young girl that's actually going to grow up to become a PWHL star, there's going to be a bunch of others that are going to realize, oh yeah, I'm not going to make the PWHL. But that experience of learning that and persevering through that and being okay with that, it's so integral to who you are. Like, there was a time in my life where I just had to sit myself down when I was a kid and be like, it's not going to happen. You aren't good enough to make the NHL. For me, it happened at a relatively young age. I was in like the C division and I never got to the B division. And eventually I had to, realize that, okay, when I was 7, it was my dream to make the NHL. It's the dream of a lot of 7-year-olds to make the NHL. It's the dream of a lot of 7-year-olds to make the PWHL. And I'm glad I can say that now. I'm glad I can say that there are a lot of 7-year-olds where their dream is to be a PWHL player. And for all those 7-year-olds where that's now their dream, a lot of them, that dream's not going to be achieved. Sad fact of the matter is, but that's okay. And you can still love this sport deeply. And you can still find a way to engage in the sport. I'm not in a beer league, but I'm in a rec league where we at least do floor hockey. And you know what? I love it. It's super fun. Yeah, I'm definitely never going to be an NHL player. I'd probably be the worst player on a beer league team. I can skate, but, skate, stick handle, and shoot accurately. I'm not that good. I can admit it. I'm not that good. That's fine. I love this sport. I love what it means to this country. And the pipeline we have to get great players can be so effective, and the amount of red tape that Hockey Canada insists on. The way that, they have a boys club, they have a girls club too. Of same old, don't adapt, act like it's still 2010. That was 16 years ago. 2010 was 16 years ago. We can't be going in with that same mentality. And there are times where it felt like I was watching Team Canada play the 2010 Olympics. And the US, they aren't even playing 2026 Olympics. They're playing 2030 Olympics. And it's not like they're just better. It's not like we don't have what it takes. We don't have a system in place specifically designed to avoid this. We just aren't using the tools that we provided to ourselves. And every Canadian who said that's what's happening, every Canadian who watched the rivalry series and said, oh man, that, like, you can't basically replicate that. You certainly can't use effectively that roster. This should be top-down changes, and saw not that. There was nothing where they did a big shakeup. Like, that rivalry series should have thrown all caution to the wind and had us completely reinvent ourselves before the Olympics. That is the beauty of the rivalry series, right? You get a little prep time. You get to face your opponent in advance. You get the likely gold medal matchup before it happens, and you get it like 4 times in a row. And then you get a break where you can choose your finalized roster. And if you, I don't know, hypothetically, get absolutely bulldozed all 4 games without fail, you can say, that's not going to work. Let's completely rewrite the formula because we got nothing to lose at this point. What do you mean we're not doing that? What do you mean no changes? What do you mean everything's fine? Everything's not fine. Now, I've talked about like all the what is worse. Let me be clear. Silver is worse. You know, when you talk about the long-term health of the team, Olympics are inherently long-term. Whoever wins this gold medal is going to be the Olympic champion for the next 4 years. That's as long-term as it gets. So let me say, no matter what, the goal needs to be to win gold. But part of me almost worries what's going to happen if we do. I've got this disgusting gut feeling that Canada's going to get a cheap gold medal, that we're going to get lucky. Again, that's the beauty of the Olympic Games. You just need that one game where you lock in to be the gold medal game. I've got a bad feeling in my gut that Canada's going to do something that Canada has done before, where they lose, and they lose in a fashion where you're like, gross. And then they win the gold medal game, so everybody forgets about it. But those issues can still fester and eventually get worse. The biggest fear is eventually what happens is you get this tournament, and the likely outcome is that we get absolutely smacked in the gold medal game. The U.S. just bullies us, and we lose by 5 or 6 in the gold medal game. That would be an all-time embarrassment for Canadian women's hockey. In the Olympics, we've only not won gold twice, so not winning gold is already like a rarity for us. For it to happen in like a fashion where we don't even put up much of a fight would be absolutely an all-time low for women's hockey in Canada. And honestly, this is assuming we make the gold medal game. My fear, though, is that, and look, I think honestly there's only one realistic way we win gold, and this is A, 2 things need to happen. A, goaltending goes supernova for Canada. You know, doesn't matter that we face 35 shots, we get 35 saves. And B, we get some ref tomfoolery that is very much to our benefit. There were times in this game where I'm like, oh wow, like I like the goal. I thought it was goalie interference on the 3rd goal. I don't think that should have counted. And there were a few times where I was like, oh, the US are getting more power plays. I think for the most part, yeah, they're penalties. There's only one time where I can like really say, oh, the US got away with one, and then we followed it up immediately with us getting a call where the US held our stick and no call, but then we get called for like the most obvious cross-check ever. Like, it's blatant. It's gonna get called every time. You're down 3. Maybe that's not the play. Maybe that's not the play. But if we get a bunch of calls that go our way, maybe we can fraudulently win 2-1. See, again, this is a game where this should make you question who's the starting goaltender for the gold medal game. Genuinely, I thought Desbiens did not have her best game, and I thought like at least 2 or 3 of the goals were soft ones. And at the end of the game, if you look at the shots that the U.S. had to the amount of goals that they scored, that's not acceptable at this level. Like, yeah, we got outplayed. We got outclassed. We got really outshot. Like, by, I think, 12 or 13. But it was like under 30, I'm pretty sure. Definitely not a number where 5 would be an acceptable amount of goals. Like if this is a gold medal game, after the 5th goal, we put in Maschmeyer. I'm surprised Maschmeyer did not start the 3rd period. I think she should have. And I think her play has, in my opinion, I know maybe I'm biased because, she was like the Charge's hero for a while, but right now I think it's her net. I think it's her net to lose. I really think that, play play her against Finland, play one of them in the quarters, one of them in the semis, and I think that should decide it. And if Maschmeyer is going in hot, you ride. You ride. This was Debien's first ever loss in the Olympics. I get that. It was also one of the ugliest losses Team Canada's ever suffered. I got some game notes, right? Harvey, a young player, a under 25 player, somebody outside the WHL even makes it 1-0. The U.S. It frustrates me how innovative they are. They're a team that wants to win gold. They're a team, 1 goal in mind, and I hate to compare it to the men. I know I've been doing that, but like the men's team for Canada has come in with such a one-track mind. There's nothing but gold. Everyone is there because they fought like hell to get on that roster, to get a gold medal. There are a lot of players on this roster. I don't want to name names, but there are a few players I can think of who are on this roster where I can say, I think they're on the roster because they're, Canadian women's hockey royalty, not because they earned it. And on America, there are a lot of, American hockey players who I would consider American women's hockey royalty who didn't get an invite because there was somebody younger, faster, better, more skilled than them. And they had to weigh their options. Do we want to, oh no, we might hurt their feelings, let's avoid that because they're royalty, or do we want a gold medal? You should want the gold medal. You should want the gold medal. You should want to win. Yeah, so immediately 1-0, we take a penalty, get the kill, but we're outplayed. I hated our zone entries. I hated our offense was terrible. Our offense was our weakest point in the entire game. The 3rd period, again, we got a bit better. It reminds me of Czechia though. It reminded me, honestly, of when Canada played Czechia and the Swiss, where the score really didn't emphasize how bad it was, how bad it really was, how truly outplayed they were. And it makes me worried because it's like if we are expecting us to beat the US in the gold, then Czechia should expect to beat us in the semis, right? Because that was the level of disparity between us and the U.S. It looked like the same level between us and Czechia, us and Switzerland. So if we can close that gap, we need to be aware that maybe one of the other teams could close the gap on us. Because that's the level of difference we're playing at right now. We could not enter their zone. When we did, we would always go right off to the boards, get cut off, and then the play would go nowhere. But also, if we tried to split the D, I know we wouldn't succeed. I know who's faster, stronger, and who would get the puck. So, how are we even going to set up on offense? We let in 5. I don't even think we hit 20 shots. So, the 3rd period was our best period. They were on autopilot. They beat us to the puck in our own corner when we should have won the race, and we didn't. And right in front, 2-0. They crashed the net. Again, I think it should have been goaltender interference, but whatever. You shouldn't be in that situation. 3-0. We killed the delay of game. 7 minutes into the second, we finally got a really good shot. That was our first good shot of the second period. It's 3-0 by that point. I barely even have any notes because it was like, at some point I was just, I didn't, what do you want to say? No, but just trust Poulin. Just trust that Poulin will fix it. No, don't worry, just give her the puck, feed her, she'll score 6 goals. No, she'll just score a hat trick and prevent 3 America, obviously. Wake up. There's no excuse for this one. And again, the worst part is, like right now, every other team has a real excuse for not being able to beat the US. They just don't have that depth of talent. They don't have the talent pool. You take all the greatest Czech women in the world, doesn't matter. They're still going to lose. Take the best Finnish women's hockey players in the world, doesn't matter. They're still going to lose. You take all the best Canadian women's hockey players in the world, and they should at least put up a fight. It should at least be a close game. It should at least be a game where Americans aren't feeling like this gold medal is, going to be a formality. The gold medal game right now, I think everyone agrees, is going to be a formality, barring an epic collapse. I think Canada's best hope for a gold medal right now is a miracle. Like, the miracle either being elite goaltending, the US playing one of the worst games they've ever played in their lives, or a true, genuine upset that doesn't involve us. Like, oh my gosh, Finland beats the US in the semifinals. Absolute stunner. And we get a Canada-Finland gold medal game. Yeah, then I think we win gold. Then I think we'll win gold. Oh my gosh. Switzerland beat America. Their goaltender played an elite again, but this time they only allowed 2 goals, and Switzerland finally got some scoring. They scored on a power play, they scored on a 6-on-5, and it went to a shootout. And that Swiss goaltender, wow, she's amazing. 5 for 5. They got 1 greasy goal, and they knocked the US. Like, that's our hope. That's our hope. Or that the Bien Mashmeyer does that. That the Bien Mashmeyer just supernova. I think that should be the goal. Like, get to the skills competition. Get to the 3-on-3 overtime. I think we could beat them in 3-on-3 overtime, sure. You put Stacy and Shelton and Poulin. I think they could compare. I think Poulin, Fillier, and Shelton. Yeah, I think they could do it. I think they could. We get a power play, put Stacy out there. I think we could bury him. But getting to that is a whole other conversation. Please beat Finland convincingly, like 10-0 convincingly, to restore some level of hope. Yeah. I'm disappointed, but not surprised. And, as always, go Canada, go.